Welcome to Full Measure. I'm Cheryl Atkinson. The first presidential debate is tomorrow night. Americans have a lot of questions. Is Clinton's health up to it? Will Trump keep his cool? The polls are growing tighter, and so is the time until the election. With the debate looming, we asked both candidates for an interview. So far, Clinton has declined. I caught up with Donald Trump on the campaign trail in Fort Myers, Florida, and began by asking him about the recent Islamic extremist terrorist attacks in New York, New Jersey, and Minnesota. Some of the analysts and some people who are experts, as well as some in the media, seem to go into contortions to try not to say early on it was a possible terrorist event. That's true. They want to go in and they just don't want to say that because that offends some people, including our president. They don't want to mention the term radical Islamic terrorism under any circumstance, including Hillary Clinton. I laughed this morning when I see her on television saying how she's going to do this and that. She's been there for 30 years. She hasn't done anything. I mean, she's all talk and no action. But she was saying that she's going to do this, and I'm the one that's been talking about this for a long time, as long as you've known me. And this is radical Islamic terrorism. It has to be dealt with sharply. It's the only language that they're going to understand. And this problem that we have now is only going to get worse with weak leadership. On the economy, in a recent survey, a majority of business economists said that Hillary Clinton was the best choice for the economy, and Libertarian Gary Johnson came in a distant second, and you came in third. Why do you think that is, and how could you change their minds? Well, I think that the most respected economists are on my side, to be honest with you. I think that I've seen tremendous reviews of my tax plan, but they do know, you have to understand, they do know that I'm going to stop these horrible trade deals. We're going to have trade, we're going to have free trade, but we're going to have real free trade, not free trade, which is a one-way highway out of our country for our jobs and our money. NAFTA is the worst trade deal ever signed in the history of the world, not only the country. You look at what it's done to our states, and you look at what it's done to, our country, what it's done to us. The jobs are gone, the money's gone. I go upstate New York, I go to Pennsylvania, I go to Ohio, I go all over. Especially for the primaries, I've never seen devastation like this. We're like a third world country. Those factories were vibrant 30 years ago, and today they're empty, they're falling down, they're collapsing from the rain and the snow. So, no, I think that we've had tremendous reviews. I mean, look, I'm going to lower taxes. Hillary Clinton is going to raise taxes. That's what I do. I have thousands and thousands of people that work for me and I've created tens of thousands of jobs. But a lot of people are concerned when I say that I'm going to renegotiate our trade deal, Cheryl. And I understand that they're concerned, but there's nothing to be concerned about. We lose right now. We have a deficit in terms of all of the trading we do with other countries. We have a trade deficit almost $800 billion a year. We're losing more than $400 billion a year with China in terms of a trade deficit, with Mexico, with Japan. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? I often say, who negotiates these deals? So your establishment people are saying, oh, gee, let things be the way. I don't think we can let them be the way they are, because our country is being devastated and our jobs are being taken. I want to hit on a couple of personal controversies for you. New York's Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, who's already suing you over Trump University, which he's called a bait-and-switch fraud, now says he's opened an inquiry into the Trump Foundation. Are you confident that the Trump Foundation has followed all charitable rules and laws? Well, I hope so. I mean, my lawyers do it. We give away money. I don't make anything. I take no salaries. I take no any costs. I have zero costs. And a lot of money goes through the Trump Foundation into charities. It goes to charities. It doesn't go to me. It goes to charities. I'll point out that Mr. Schneiderman is a Hillary Clinton supporter and has apparently found nothing worthy of inquiry with the Clinton Foundation. With hundreds of millions of dollars of things. Isn't it interesting? And he said he's not even going to look at it. But I think my people do a very good job with it. Nearly every major news organization has remarked during the Obama administration years that this has been a record for obstruction and lack of transparency. But considering your rocky relationship with the press, do they have reason to be concerned that things will continue along that path or even get worse? Maybe reporters you don't agree with could get banned, things like that? Well, I think that the press has been very dishonest with me to a large extent. Not all of them, not you, by the way, but the press has been very, very dishonest. And when I see it, I'm just amazed. At the same time, I will certainly
be open to dealing with the press and reporters. But
do you see yourself banning reporters from certain events and things like that?
No, I don't see that, but a lot of people have done it, and a lot of people in a lot of different businesses have done it. The press has been very, very dishonest. I mean, even recently when I said yesterday the bombing, and she said the bombing, and they criticized my use of the word bombing, but not hers, and they cut it out. And I mean, many other things, even over the last couple of days. So the relationship with the press is, it's not a question of good. All I want is honesty. And if there's something wrong or something bad, I can handle that. But when you do something great and they try and make it as negative as possible constantly, it's really not a fair situation.
You and I first spoke about a year ago when there was something like 16 other Republicans in the race, and you had a long haul. Going back to a year ago, did you really think you had a good chance at being here today?
Well, I don't think I would have been doing it if I didn't. You know, that question is, do you really think this was going to happen? And I guess the answer is I wouldn't have done it if I didn't. You know, I'm not looking to lose. And traditionally, I do well and I win, and I do a nice job. This has become a very big situation. It's amazing. What's happened is amazing. You see outside, you see the kind of crowds we have, and you just said something. You ought to show pictures of what's outside, because it's true. The press, as an example, they never show the size of the crowd, ever. The only time they show it is there's a little bit of a protest someplace within the crowd, then all of a sudden they show, and then people say, wow, what a big crowd that is. I think the answer is I would assume that I thought this was going to happen, because I wouldn't have done it if I didn't.
How has the past year changed you from the time you started this race to where you are today, with all you've learned, the turns that you've taken, and the criticism that you've had, and the success that you've had?
Well, I think it's probably changed me, but I haven't had a lot of time to think about it, because every day I'm campaigning. I'll make 3 or 4 major speeches, sometimes in one day, where you have massive crowds, and you know that, you see it. It's been an amazing experience. What has been is that the people of this country are incredible. They're looking for hope. They're looking for change. They're looking for success. They're looking for victory. We don't win anymore. Our country doesn't win anymore. We don't win on trade. We can't beat ISIS. We don't win with the military. We have the greatest people in the world in our military, but it's depleted. We don't take care of our vets. It looks like the Second Amendment's in big trouble. Certainly, if I don't win, the Second Amendment is in big, big trouble. Healthcare is a disaster. We don't win anymore. And I will tell you that I think the reason that it's caught on so much is we're going to win again. We're going to start winning again. And people understand that, and people see it.
A bit later in the program, I'll ask Trump a few questions posed by some of our viewers. Earlier, Donald Trump responded to a few of my questions. Now it's your turn. We asked the Republican presidential nominee some questions you suggested. What does it mean to be an American?
To me, being an American is the ultimate. You have to be so lucky to be born into this country. It's the ultimate jackpot. If you're born in America, boy, what an advantage.
Will you keep tweeting yourself if you become president?
Probably not, although it is a great way of communicating.
It can be. This is a more complex question, but maybe you can just touch on it. What would you do if Russia were to invade Estonia?
Well, I don't want to say, because I don't like telling people what I'm going to do. One of the biggest problems we have is every politician gets up and says, we're going to this, we're going to send troops here, we're going to send troops there, they're going to arrive at a certain time of the day. I don't like saying that. I think it's a very bad policy to be discussing.
Is your tax philosophy more that it takes a certain amount of money to run the government and you get it however you need to get it, or that we should only take a limited amount from the people and spend that?
No, I think it takes a certain amount of money, and you want to take care of your people, and we end up getting it. But taxes are too high in this country. I'm giving a massive tax reduction, and I'm also getting rid of regulation. We have so much regulation. The tax reduction I'm giving is tremendous. But you know what? People are more excited about the regulation cutting. We have regulations on regulations, and honestly, it's gotten out of control. And it's really killing our businesses, that I can tell you.
And if you could go back a year and tell yourself a year ago something that you've learned today, how to be, how to change, how to act, would there be something?
Well, I think the main thing, and I would have known this maybe without having to go back, never, ever quit, never give up.
And a program note, you can see tomorrow night's big debate right here on